Hello and welcome back to another video in the Lego room. Today we will be doing something quite frankly I've been putting off for a week or two, and that is the Lego Star Wars retirement list for 2024. And over the summer you will have seen me do a couple of videos about retirement extensions and things that will be exempt from this year's retirement list, and sets that will now be slated to retire in 2025 or onwards. Instead of sending you back to those videos to see which sets won't be retiring this year from the original list, I will go over them now before we dive into the sets that will be retiring. So the sets that won't be retiring this year are as follows. It's the 75357 Ghost and Phantom 2. You've also got the 75354 Republic Coruscant Guard gunship. You've also got the mid-scale Executor Superstar Destroyer, which is 75356. You've got Vader's helmet, 75304. The TIE Bomber, 75347. Obi-Wan Starfighter, 75333. And you've also got the 501st Specialist Battle Pack, 75345. Those are 7 sets that everyone thought was going to retire at the end of the year, and they won't be retiring at the end of 2024. They will at least last another year on shelves. Now into the good stuff, and I've got everything written down here in case I forget, because there is over 20 sets retiring, so I do need to try and make sure that I don't make any mistakes at all. What I will say as well, just straight off the bat, is the fact that if you want one of these sets, do not wait until 2 weeks before Christmas or when stock is low. As we've seen in the past, when things go out of stock at that time of year, they don't return back to shelves. And as I've said before in these videos, and particularly last year, I remember using the example of the Star Destroyer from a couple of years ago, which went out of stock before Christmas, and then you see scalpeled, inflated prices on the second-hand market. So, if you're going to buy this for yourself or for somebody else, or potentially for investing for further down the line, do not wait until it's 2 weeks or a week before Christmas, because the chances are you might not be able to grab it. And I'll touch on those types of sets earlier on in the video, because some of the smaller sets you're probably more likely to be able to see at the back end of December and even being sold off in January. So let's get into it, and I'm going to start with the Mos Eisley Cantina, which is a set that is retiring at the end of the year. It's a set that I've done quite a bit about on the channel over the last couple of weeks, because I've just purchased it myself after it being on the shelves for 4 years, and I eventually decided that it was the time for me to purchase it, as I knew it was retiring. A little point with this as well is the fact that we went to pick it up in a Lego store or grab hold of one, and there wasn't any in the Lego store. We then found out that there wasn't any in any of the Lego stores in the UK. They were being reserved to order, so that suggests to me that there's only a certain amount of them left, and they're all being dispatched from the warehouse. So that is something to bear in mind if you're looking to grab hold of this set within the next couple of months before it retires. As a set, by the way, I can't recommend it highly enough. I think it's fantastic. It's certainly right up there in my sort of top couple of sets that I own. Next up is something that is unanimously considered to be a lot of people's top UCS set, or certainly in the top half a dozen UCS sets. It's the 75313 and this UCS set goes for nearly £750 here in the UK and nearly $900, and this set's been on the shelves since November 2021. Only 3 years on the shelves for such an iconic set. This is a set that if you can grab hold of, I absolutely would recommend it. Will it go in the sale towards the festive season? I'm not entirely sure. I remember last year apparently it had gone on sale at Smith's Toy Store for £400. That probably was the time to get it, and if you see it for that kind of price over the next couple of months before the festive period, that is probably the perfect time to pick it up. I don't think you'll get a chance to get it that cheap ever again. From one UCS set that is widely considered to be one of the best to one that probably isn't loved quite so much, it's the 75341 Luke's Land Speeder, and this set will end up being on sale before Black Friday or around about that period of time. It's happened before, and I'm sure it will happen again. It unanimously isn't one of the best selling UCS sets. I think partially because we've seen so many Luke's Land Speeder play scale sets in the past, and for me personally, the fact that the figures don't really scale correctly with the speeder, for me, is just one of those things that I just don't, I don't love this set. Now, what is my can't say no price to this? If you see for better than half price and it's less than £100, maybe it's £80, that kind of 50-60% off mark, absolutely, I think it's a good set. But I think at its original £220 price tag, it just missed the mark ever so slightly, and is one to pick up. It's one that if you pick up dirt cheap, it'll probably retain its value. I can't see it becoming really expensive in the future. I just can't see it happening personally. Next up is another black box UCS set. It is the 75308 R2D2. This set's £210 here in the UK, and I totally expected this set to be retired this year, particularly with the release of the mid-scale R2D2, which is a set that I absolutely love. It's quite possibly in my top 5 of this year so far. Beautifully done, scales really well with the new C3PO, and the reality is you can buy the C3PO and the R2D2 for the same price it would cost you to get this R2D2 UCS set, one that's been on shelves for over 3 years. And if you do want it, absolutely go and grab it, but I can't recommend highly enough getting that new, cheaper in scale R2D2, £90 at the moment, and has been as cheap as sort of £70 or £60 on sale since. The R2D2 and C3PO also scale correctly with another set that's coming off shelves, which is one of the most controversial and quite frankly not the best selling sets. It's that buildable figure 75371 Chewbacca. This set for £180 or $200 has divided opinion across the board. It's certainly not sold particularly well, and even last year, a few months after it had been released, you were seeing it go for 50% off on Black Friday, and I'd absolutely expect it to be at around about that price with certain retailers before the end of the year. What is your can't say no price with this particular set? I don't see it becoming a really expensive set for investment in the future. It's maybe one that I'd skip over in that regard, but if you are looking to grab that set, I would expect it to be 50-60+% off, maybe towards the Black Friday period. And if sets that don't sell particularly well is the theme, then the next setup is the 4+ Jedi Temple from the Young Jedi Adventure, set number 75358, which is the Jedi Temple that went for £38, and a couple of minifigures in there as well. I actually picked this up for £7 in my local supermarket, and for me it's one to sit on and just sell, and quite frankly I think it'll probably just sell for about the retail price that it was meant for in a year or two's time. And in the emissions at the beginning, we talked about the Vader helmet not retiring despite it being on the shelves for a couple of years. And two helmets that came onto shelves in the middle of 2023 are the Bouche Leia helmet and the Commander Cody helmet. Both of these sets will be retiring at the end of the year. And these are actually sets that I absolutely recommend in terms of investment pieces. These helmets traditionally seem to retain quite a lot of value over the course of time, and certainly increasing. So you only have to look at the TIE Bomber helmet and the Boba Fett helmet to realise that some of these iconic original set helmets are selling for at least double or triple what their original RRP was. And the beautiful thing about these helmets is the fact that quite often you will see them at a discounted price, and I'd certainly expect to see them discounted on Amazon before the festive period. Next in the lineup is the dual ship sets, and we've had one added to the shelves in August with the TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup, and we're getting two coming off at the end of the year. The 75364 and the 75348, which is the TIE Interceptor and Fang Fighter, and the Shin Hati and New Republic E-Wing ship. I like both of these sets, I have to say. I like the New Republic and E-Wing Shin Hati set a lot more. I think the figures in that in particular will definitely appreciate over the course of time, particularly that Shin Hati figure, and definitely with the late Ray Stevenson. Fantastic performance and a fantastic minifigure to go with it as well. Those sets, take them or leave them in terms of an investment perspective, but if you don't have them, I would definitely recommend getting hold of that Shin Hati and New Republic E-Wing set. They're both pretty good sets, and they're both sets that we've seen discounted at various points during the year, and if you can get 30-40% off them, then they're a fantastic set. Battle packs. Well, battle pack, actually, there's only one that's coming off shelves, and you probably won't be too hard pressed to work out which it is, given that I told you that 501st was exempt. The 332nd is the only battle pack that will be coming off shelves at the end of the year, which isn't a tremendous surprise, to be totally honest. It was one that sort of divided opinion at the time, particularly because of the original plan to inflate the prices of the battle pack. The one downside for this to me is the fact that it means we're probably only going to get one set, one battle pack next year during the Revenge of the Sith anniversary, and I had high hopes to get a couple of different styles of clone, maybe some Galactic Marines, please, and maybe some Kashyyyk Troopers, maybe some 212, who knows. But my hope was that we'd get a couple of different types of clone troopers. Obviously, we've got a couple of clone trooper packs on the market still, but it would have been nice to see a couple of new battle packs there as well. Other sets that came out on the same day as that 332nd battle pack are Yoda's Jedi Starfighter and the Mandalorian Spider Tank. Both of these sets will be retiring at the end of 2024. That Spider Tank is quite a heavy price at £46 here in the UK, considering what you're actually getting for your money. But a lot of people are drawn in with that Bo-Katan figure, because that is a beautiful Bo-Katan figure, and certainly one that I will potentially look at picking up on the second-hand market. I haven't grabbed it purely because I think that the price of it is just a little bit heavy. I did get the Yoda Jedi Starfighter, which seemed a bit silly really, considering it's the exact same one as from 2017, albeit the colouring was maybe ever so slightly different, but no new figures, nothing particularly new about it, and one that I would expect to see discounted before the end of 2024. Another set that came out in 2023, the summer of, was the Pirate Snub Fighter, and I think this set might do better towards Christmas if indeed the pirates are a theme of the Skeleton Crew that is releasing on December the 3rd on Disney Plus. If we do see this ship at any point during the Skeleton Crew, I think it may well help push it through and push it out of stock before it ends up on sale discounted at January, because we've already seen this ship discounted and on sale with numerous vendors throughout its tenure. One of my absolute favourites next is the 75365 Yavin 4 base, and this was actually gifted to me last Christmas-ish time by a fan of the, well, a follower of the channel. I guess he is a fan of the channel. Certainly wouldn't be giving me a £150 set if he wasn't a fan. And really nice, takes pride of place on the top shelf, which is quite frankly the only place it can go because of how tall it is. 12 minifigures, I think, in that one. I'll have to double check that in the edit, but 12 minifigs, really nicely done, and really fun set, and something you can certainly mock build around. I think if you could get this set for anywhere around the £90–80 mark, if you're looking at it from an investment point of view, I think that would be a really good deal. And obviously if you're looking to grab it for somebody for Christmas, I think it is a really nice play scale set. Next up, and it is finally retiring, it's the 2019 Millennium Falcon, and this is absolutely no surprise at all. We've still always got the UCS set on shelves. That's planned to always stay on shelves. We got the mid-scale set in March, and just in August we got the Dark Millennium Falcon from Rebuild the Galaxy. That means that for a very, very limited time there will be 4 Millennium Falcons on shelves, and quite frankly that nobody needs that many Millennium Falcons. So it's absolutely no surprise to me that the play scale set from 2019, which quite frankly could have came off shelves a year or two ago, is finally coming off shelves. From something big to something slightly smaller now, the two microfighters, the Boba Fett microfighter and the Mando and Grogu N1 microfighter, are both coming off shelves at the end of the year. This is the type of set that you can expect to maybe see floating about at the end of December or the start of January, and definitely a good sort of stocking filler for younger fans. Speaking of stocking fillers for younger fans as well, the 3 mechs from last summer are all coming off shelves. You've got the Boba Fett, the Stormtrooper and the Darth Vader mech, all 3 of them coming off shelves. I'm not a huge fan of the mechs, but I was picking a couple of these up in my local supermarket. They were down to about £6, and which is a pretty good deal considering they're about £13 to £15 depending on where you get them from. And if you can pick them up cheap, great. If not, they're still a pretty good stocking filler for younger fans, or even slightly older fans if they're into the mechs. It does leave me wondering what kind of, if any, mechs we'll get next year with the Luke Skywalker mechs still on shelves. And in terms of small sets as well, you're also going to see retirement of the Tusken Raider from the January 1st of 2023, and you're also going to see the Obi-Wan and Vader brickheads, which feel like they've been on the shelves for quite a long time, but I think it was about the time when the Obi-Wan show was out. I think that was originally out on shelves. So you've had ample time to get those, and you'll still have ample time to grab them. I don't see them selling out in the run-up to Christmas. The final 2 sets, and these are sets that I would look at as potential investment pieces as well. Basically any set that's like adult 18 plus set is something that I think usually ages quite well. The only thing I would say is with these 2 sets, you've got the 75353 Endor Speeder Bike Chase diorama. I think this is a really nice set. You'll be able to see it just in the corner of shot there, and I've slightly modified mine. I was wondering what that is. It's actually the Iron Man brickhead just next to it because I've run out of space on all my shelves. We're still waiting to put the new shelving unit in on the other side, which will be on the channel in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. Make sure you follow and subscribe. But the Speeder Bike Chase is retiring. That's about a £70 set here in the UK. If you can get it cheap, it's a fantastic set. I still think it's a decent investment set. Most of the black box 18 plus adult sets usually are. The Emperor's Throne Room diorama, on the other hand, £90. First of all, it is my favourite diorama of all of the dioramas. It's an iconic scene. You know exactly what's going on when you look at it. I also think the window piece is almost perfect. It looks exactly like the sort of weird circular piece you see behind the Emperor in the film. For me, it's my favourite one. The only drawback is that it is £90. So if you can get it for the £60 mark, I think that's where you want to be trying to grab it. Because as an investment piece, it probably will appreciate in value. We've seen a couple of these types of sets before. I'm thinking of the 40th anniversary Luke and Vader I Am Your Father diorama scene. They do increase in price, but at £90 is quite a steep starting point. So I would definitely look to see if you can pick that up for cheap, whether you're buying it for yourself or whether you're buying it for somebody else. And that is absolutely every single set that is retiring at the end of 2024. And if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations. Thank you very much as well for watching. It is sincerely appreciated. We've got a ton of stuff coming up in this space over the next couple of weeks, including the new units and all the new displays that we'll be putting out on shelves over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're following or subscribe so you don't miss that. If there is to be any more omissions or inclusions to the retirement list, then I will be sure to do a video about it. So make sure you're following or subscribe so you don't miss any of the Lego goodness. Until I see you in the very next video, I hope you have a wonderful and a nerdy week. Take care.